What's up, MFers? I just got back from the Home Depot working on getting this bad boy framed out. As you saw in our last video, or one of the last videos, I don't know when this is going to go out. I don't know how this is going to take me for this project. I bought this little John boat. It's a 11.5-foot boat. I don't know if it's really a John boat. It's a V-bottom boat. And going to use it a ton around the Omaha area where I live, and really just about anywhere on any type of small lake where I can't get my boat into, doesn't have a boat ramp, but there's Slanchtosaurus living in it, and so obviously I need to go explore those. I'm going to give you guys some more versatility, not only fishing in that guy, but fishing in that dude as well. Well, I just got back from the Home Depot, dropped some solid amount of money, $200, and we're going to frame this dude out. Now, as you saw in the last video, I was talking about the main thing I want to do with this dude right here is to keep it light, because it's going in the back of the truck right there, and so obviously I'm going to be lifting it. I don't have a trailer, and there's a reason for that. I don't like to mess with trailers. Bearings go out, tires blow out, and I don't have anywhere to store it for a trailer. I'm actually going to hoist it up on a ceiling, so maybe I'll throw that into a video too with this little John boat to bass boat type modification video series we're going to be doing. So to keep the weight down, I went and bought these aluminum angles. So aluminum, most of you guys probably know that much lighter to frame with than 2x4s. It was kind of pricey. Those are like 15-20 bucks a piece. So that's what I'm going to be using to frame this to keep the weight down. I did get plywood. I'm using 1/2-inch plywood, and then I got this, I think this is like 11/32 or 9/32 really thin plywood. I might use that to kind of separate some compartments. But I ran into a bit of a predicament trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the compartments for this boat because of the depth. So right here, this is only, okay, that's the tub I bought for a compartment. But right here, this is only like 11 inches from there to the bottom of the boat. And right here is only about 7 or 8 inches to there. So that's a problem when you have your typical 3700 boxes, which are like 8.5 in depth. So my options, and I really wanted to do this, were either A, put the plywood on top of these guys here, use these built-in supports as a support for the plywood, and there as well, and in the back of course too. But I want to use a lot of these boxes, and I've seen guys use these tough boxes, and it's awesome because they're waterproof, and use a bunch of those, but they're like 14 inches deep. So what I would have had to do is build this deck all the way up to the side almost, which also takes a little bit away from stability because you're raising your center of balance, which I didn't really want to do a whole lot. But then I could add a whole bunch more storage. Well, after thinking about it and the difficulty that would take to add that much more framing to it, the cost, the time is the big thing. I don't have a ton of time. I don't want to spend a ton of time in my garage working on this. You know, this is kind of a winter project, but I want to crack it out so I can get out and start fishing in this guy. So what I think I decided I'm going to do, I went and bought this container, which is just deep enough to fit the regular 3700 boxes. I'm going to put this guy right here like so in the middle. I'm probably going to put some foam or support or something underneath that so it's not bouncing around or whatever. And then on the sides, I'm going to build some shallow storage on both sides of him, and then the recessed foot pedal tray just in front of that, and just put the plywood smack dab right on top of the supports that are already built into the boat. That's going to keep me from adding a bunch of weight and a bunch of time into this project, and I still think it's going to be a pretty slick looking rig. Now in the back here, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to put plywood starting here all the way to the back, all the way across. I'm going to put a compartment right here and a compartment on the other side as well. So that way I can put the battery, which I'm going to try to run from the front all the way back here to kind of even out the weight of the boat. Obviously with the trolling motor up front, it would make a lot more sense to have the battery right there. And that might be something I end up doing once I see how the weight works, how the balance of the boat is in the water. But for now, I'm going to run some conduit back to the back once I get that set up. I don't even have a trolling motor yet, so that's the next step. I got to drive to Des Moines. Luckily enough, the old Zark came correct. He has a spare leftover side of the road one, so that'll be a whole nother adventure. But anyways, for now, this back compartment, one of them will be able to hold the trolling motor battery, and with the other compartment that'll be just on the other side of that, I'm going to put, life jackets. If I have a non-boater with me, they can put their stuff in there, raincoats, stuff like that. And then we're gonna kind of see what the weight is like after that. Now, if it's not too heavy at that point, and my plan is to not leave a bunch of tackle in here. I don't have any point in leaving all my tackle or anything in here that's going to make it too heavy. But my plan is, after that, I'm going to see what the weight's like and decide if I want to build a floor all the way across there. I don't know, a flat, carpeted, really thin sheeted plywood floor that'll be reinforced in the middle. Obviously, it's not going to take much. We don't have much of a grade right there. And kind of see what my weight's like. If the weight's still low once I get that decking in, which I don't think I'm going to be adding more than like 50 pounds to it. Boat's already about 80 pounds, so that's going to be about 120, 130 pounds. Not a terrible lift into the back of the truck. It is kind of awkward, but luckily it has these little handles in the back, so it's not too bad. If it's not too heavy at that point, I'm going to put the floor in the middle of that guy as well, but that's more cosmetic, and this isn't trying to be a beautiful, cosmetically pleasing boat. But I'm gonna stop rambling. Hopefully you guys are kind of on the same page, kind of stoked to see how this turns out. Maybe you're not at all, but I'm pretty excited to get going on this, dude. Goal today is to get the framing done. I don't know how easy it's going to be to cut this aluminum. I got some special cutting blades, metal cutting blades for my jigsaw, and also some metal drill bits that seem to be pretty badass. So I'm gonna get started on this, hopefully film, let you guys know a little bit as I get going through this. It might be a giant epic failure. I might be making 20 more trips to the Home Depot like every project seems to be. But for now, let's get rolling on this, dude. All right, I'm about an hour and a half in and I believe I have the back deck finished. Here's what we ended up with. I've actually, I want to do the back deck first because I've never actually worked with these aluminum angles, these aluminum flats. But they're actually super strong and rigid. They feel really flimsy before you put them down, but they feel really good. So here's what we got going on so far. I'm probably gonna put some posts right down here between this guy and this guy just for some more support on both sides. And I'm going to divide this with a really thin piece of plywood here once I get figured out what exactly I'm going to do. But basically, it's gonna be a hatch here, battery will go there, life jackets there. I'm gonna say the battery will go here. I'll probably build like a custom little bracket for it so it's not bouncing all over the place. And I'll put it on this side because the drain plug is on this side, so I think naturally the water will be more apt to go that way. But super impressed with this so far. Just to give you guys an idea of how strong it is. It doesn't look very strong, but I can stand on just those two alone, and it's feels pretty rock solid. Basically just hooking this onto the sides with rivets, being sure to waterproof everything, hit it with some silicone as I put it through the side of the boat. But honestly, I haven't put it through down there. I don't even know if the water line will be up that high. Going well so far. It's actually coming together pretty nicely. I'll probably throw some more supports in there just to play on the safe side, but really happy with the back so far. I'm gonna get moved on to the front here in a short minute. All right, so here we are. I got the front frame done for the most part. I need to add some supports to it still, but here's what we got. So yeah, I molded this and then I put a bar across. We got some supports on the sides because this is gonna be a compartment, this is going to be a compartment, and that's gonna be a compartment. So we'll have a little bit of supports. I don't think it's gonna be necessary. I have these tied in really tight right now, but here's what we're gonna do. I got this set up for the recessed foot pedal tray. So I frame that in just like so. And then I haven't finished cutting off the seal on the side of this tub right here. But that guy's going to go in kind of like that. It's going to sit flush though. That way I can fit any type of storage boxes right there. I still am going to add a bar through there, so another support for this guy to sit on. And then of course I need some bars going straight down from here down to the bottom. So we got some good supports, hold up the weight, especially because there's gonna be a lot more weight on the front, a lot more often. And as you can see, it's a little flimsy right now. But for the main part, front deck is coming along nicely. Everything's cutting nice. Only been through one blade on the jigsaw. Still on my first drill bit. Everything's going very smooth so far. Probably until I actually go to put the deck on, and then we'll have some issues. Can't wait. All right, we skipped ahead a little bit, but as you saw, I got the front deck cut. I would strongly recommend using a big piece of cardboard. I don't know why I didn't just buy one or find one, because that made it a lot tougher to cut the front deck Front deck is right there, as you can see. So it's not perfectly cut, but like I said, I'm not trying to make this a perfect boat. I'm gonna do the best I can at it, obviously, but don't think it's gonna be perfect by any means. But as you can see, got this. This right here is the main compartment we got cut out. There it is right there. We don't have all the supports in there yet, so don't freak out at me that it's not going to be safe to stand on. The drill died, so it's charging a little bit right now. But got that middle compartment cut out. Honestly, it was a whole bunch of measuring, get everything lined up and straight before we got to go ahead and cut that. And that was the biggest part, because now, so this hatch is going to go up like that, and that's where that tote's going to go, right in there. So that's going to fit in there real nice. And then this part here, I'm just going to cut straight down this way, straight over. Diesel hook to the sides, and then we'll have an angled compartment. It'll be exactly the same on the other side. And we just got to get the recessed trolling motor put right up there. But this is actually taking a really, really long time, but that's okay. We got a couple more hours for the day, and then I'm probably gonna call it a day. I didn't get any carpet or carpet glue or hinges yet. I do have oil struts. I'm gonna put some struts in this to make the compartments stay open, which will be really a nice feature, I think, on this little boat. But I'm gonna get back to work. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a day. Tackle this hopefully tomorrow or the next day or day after that. Didn't get her finished today. Spent about 6 hours on it, but here is the finished product. Here's where we're at. Got everything framed, everything supported down underneath there. I can walk across every single beam, so it's rock solid. I went ahead and just riveted down below the deck the recessed foot pedal tray for the trolling motor. I don't know, that way I can just put the carpeted main deck piece right over the top of that. As you can see, everything is gonna hopefully work out pretty nicely there. Let's get this guy put in. I'll show you what that's gonna look like. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to, I think I'm gonna like rivet slash glue or screw. I'm either gonna screw or rivet it, but screw it into the sides and the back, and probably hit it with some adhesive too. And then I'm gonna put like a 2x4 or something even lighter I can find. I don't know if I might have just another sheet metal piece laying around now. And that'll be good to go. That'll be the middle compartment, obviously. And yeah, I probably got some parts I need to raise a little bit with the deck. That way it will sit flush when all the compartments are shut. Since this guy is sitting on top of there, we now got the trolling motor foot pedal tray on top of that. But everything, honestly, is going really, really well. Really excited for where we are at to start this, dude. Like I said, I bought some really thin plywood, so I'm gonna put that to section off this right here. And I think I might actually, if possible, run it all the way up to the front on both sides, which will give me really nice storage space. Again, that's all pretty much based on how much weight and the plywood will be. I'm really, really happy though with how light everything has stayed so far. As you can see, still extremely, extremely light. Not gonna be a problem at all lifting it into the back of the truck, which is the most important thing here. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. Like I said, this is not the most fancy boat build of all time. I'm not an expert by any means. I'm just trying to make this functional and a little bit sick at the same time. Have some nice storage space in it. So what's left? We got the back deck to make. Obviously we got to hinge everything, carpet everything. I got struts for everything. Gotta get the trolling motor still, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably just build it up so it can be mounted right up there. But I will catch you guys next time to get this bad boy finished up, and then we need to get her out on the water, start catching some slaunches. I'll see you soon. What is up? I'm back. Day 2 of boat modificationing. Yeah, just went to Home Depot, got some more plywood. I needed one more sheet so I can get that back deck done. Didn't really want to put the thin, I think it's like 5/32 or 9/32 or something inch plywood. That's just going to be for the dividers. But yeah, I got some carpet as well, hinges, struts, everything we need for that. So what we have left, back deck we need to put on. I'm going to put the plywood in there to section off the 2 separate right compartments. Of course, we do all the carpet on this, all the hinges, and yeah, that's about it. We got a lot of work to do. I'm gonna get to it. All right, update. We got the everything's cut out, compartments made, back deck is made. got all the compartments cut out and took another 1/4 inch off each side. So that's just a little bit of a rough estimate of what it'll look like. That way everything will fit nice and snug with the carpet on it. And carpet is actually the next step. What I did just a second ago is I made a board that goes all the way from here up to the front, which is gonna be really nice. And then I'm gonna make a front board up there. So I'm gonna carpet that piece right there that it divides. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom, but it's big enough it'll keep any plastics or any big boxes, anything from going down underneath that into the bottom of the boat. But everything's coming along pretty nicely. I need to clean out the inside of the boat since this is the last time I'll have real good access to it, and then we'll be good to go. What I did to put the carpet on, it was super important that I cut a 1/4 inch off the side of every compartment hatch when I was doing that. You have to do it. It seems ridiculous and it's terrifying to cut off that much off every piece. You think it's gonna be way too small, but as you can see, everything fits pretty flush the way those compartments are, just to make up for the space of the carpet. Now, as you can see, the grain of the carpet's not running the same on all the pieces, and that's makes no difference to me at all. And everything I've done on this boat has turned out really well. But like I said, this isn't something that it's trying to be perfect. There is going to be imperfections, you know. I'm not trying to go fish Bassmaster Classic or pick up ladies in this boat. I'm trying to catch some slaunches. I just went and picked up old Max from school, let him know this is going to be the boat that he learns to fish in, which I think super important. Get a kid a real small boat, go learn how to fish before they step up to a big boat and before they go buy one for themselves. A big boat. You know, I think that's a problem with I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. I think that's a problem with a lot of these high school anglers these days. You know, there's thousands and thousands across the country. It's so good to see high school fishing and to see people competing and so many people getting involved. But way too many kids entering the tournament world that think they're going to be the next Elite Series professional just because mom and dad went and bought them a $70,000 bass boat before they learned how to fish, learned how to set up on fish using a boat. This is how I learned to fish, and it made me so much better of an angler to go actually figure out the fish than just have everything handed to me by my parents. Anyway, we got some hinges to put on. I'm gonna take the decks and the compartments, put them on a flat surface, put the hinges on that way before I attach the deck to the boat. That way everything's flush with the hinges and with the compartments to the decking. That way everything's super flat and neat. And if anything needs to be added to the deck so everything stays level, we'll add a couple little wood shims or pieces of aluminum that way. But everything's coming along super nicely. Well, welcome back. Day number 3. Stayed up late last night, got her all finished. Here is the finished product of my modification. So I know this probably wasn't the best DIY video. I didn't really get any good time lapses or up close shots of a lot of things I was doing. That wasn't really my goal for this. I kind of just wanted to show you guys how I did everything, you know, what I wanted to do and explain why I was doing every modification that I did. If you do want to go see an actual step-by-step tutorial, I strongly recommend Fire Ant Fishing and Michael Lopez. Those guys have some awesome videos on their channel of the step-by-step. I watch a ton of their videos throughout the process of making this little modification, but we're completely finished with everything except the trolling motor on this dude right now. So just a real quick synopsis of what I ended up doing with the whole thing. So we used 1/2-inch plywood on both decks. That's what everything is, 1/2-inch plywood. Reinforced everything, did the frame with the aluminum, I think it's 1.5 inch aluminum bars and aluminum angles. So to attach all those, I riveted those with 3/16 inch rivets, which I hadn't really used rivets a whole bunch. I'd used them a little bit. They're freaking sick. I'm gonna be using those for a lot more of my projects moving forward. Definitely really good to work with. I attached the deck to the aluminum with these building tech things right here. You see they're made for wood to metal sheeting, and I really like how it stayed down. None of the screws stripped out as I worked them in or anything. Really, really important. I treated the wood with a waterproofer, and every time I drilled a hole, I hit it with some marine silicone. That'll keep water from seeping in. It'll slow the rot a whole lot on these guys. So that's super, super important whenever you're dealing with anything that's gonna be around water a lot. I ended up putting this tub in right here to keep things a little bit more dry inside, and I just riveted that in, and that ended up working out awesome. I'm pretty sure I could like stand in there. I don't want to really do that because I worried I would bust the bottom out of it, but it's more than strong enough to hold whatever I want. I might drill some holes in the bottom of it too, just in case any water gets in there. It'll seep out that way. And then last night I threw these struts on. So we got these struts that will allow the compartments to shut and then stay open like that. That's a super nice little feature. Same with the middle one. That's awesome. Super happy about those. So I got those on 4 compartments. This guy right here doesn't have one, for the simple fact that they came in a 4-pack, and I don't really need it on all of them. So plan is, like I said before, co-anglers stuff, life jackets, whatever right there, battery right there. I'm gonna put the battery in the back so I offset some of the weight, and then I'm gonna run conduit up to the front. Just a single trolling motor battery. I'm also gonna install a bilge pump because I'm pretty sure this is gonna be watertight from my testing it, but it's a boat. Water gets in boats, water gets in my bass boat, and yeah, always have a bilge pump. So I'll run that to the battery as well, just a single battery. Last step is just to pick up the trolling motor. Got the recessed trolling motor foot tray. Wasn't necessary at all, but I am glad I put that in. That's a nice little feature, make it a little bit more comfortable to fish in all day. And one more thing I did, I put these little sidewalls in right here that run all the way to the front. So this front compartment is plenty big. I can put a whole bunch of plastics in there. I can put my oar in there, since you do have to have an oar or a life jacket if I have someone in the back. So I ended up with a ton of storage in this little boat. It's 11.5-foot boat, and it's got a ton of storage. Easily, comfortably fish 2 people in it, so I'm super stoked to get it out on the water. You know, like I said, this is not a perfect modification. Nothing was perfect that I did on this. I cut corners on it the quickest I could. So to get these open, I attached these little pieces of fabric. I don't know if they're gonna hold up. I just stapled them in there. And of course, we carpeted everything. We got outdoor marine carpet on the entire boat. Just a nice little feature. Obviously wasn't 100% necessary, but I'm glad I did. It looks nice. I left this part open. I got enough plywood and carpet to carpet it about 37 times. I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not. I might end up doing it just to, I don't know, cosmetics basically. I don't think it'll add too much weight, maybe another 5 to 10 pounds to it. But that was the main thing. I wanted to keep the weight down on this build because, like I said, I am going to be putting it in the back of the truck. I don't have a trailer for it. I'm usually going to be by myself, I assume, when fishing in this. And luckily, I absolutely did that. I think I added maybe like 10 pounds total of aluminum framing, which is just awesome. It probably would have been like 50 to 60 pounds if I used 2x4s. And then for the plywood, I don't even know if I ended up, by the time I cut everything, if I even ended up using a whole sheet of 1/2-inch plywood. A whole sheet of 1/2-inch plywood, I might be wrong here, I think it weighs like 45 pounds or so. And then we just used a little bit of like the I think it was like 9/32 inch plywood, just for the side compartments to divide those. So really kept the weight down. Not gonna have any problems lifting this bad boy into the back of the truck. Like I said, sorry if I didn't do really well on my step-by-step of this tutorial. Just flat out ready to get after these little small water slaunchtopusses. Keep those ideas coming in for the names of the boat. You guys have been doing a great job on those. Go comment on my last video to name this. And if I do pick your name, you will win the custom bait prize package straight from Benny's Custom Lures. But as always, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. I know it was a little bit different than anything I've done before. Now it's time to get back out, do some slaunch sticking. I'm out of here for now. Peace!
Hey, lace 'em up, lace 'em up, lace 'em up, lace 'em. Blue suede shoes stay crispy like bacon. Nikes on my feet make my cipher complete. I stay shining like the lights on the street in the night. Revis take me shopping when I'm up in New York. Hit the shoe store, go and cop a few more. You at the mall getting dinner at the food court. I'm in LA eating 22 course.